Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Archontou here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. So happy to have some time with you today on this Wednesday. It's not only Wednesday, but it is National Noodle Day. I know that, actually you can Google it. Every day is a National Something Day, it turns out. I know we were bombarded with Son's Day and Daughter Day and Dog Day and everything else has come up. But this is a good one. This is a tasty one. And when I saw that it was coming, I knew that I wanted to reach out to one of the restaurants that are, have a few restaurants right in our service area for YWC Northern New Jersey, and talk about noodles and also talk about this wonderful business and, all the great information attached to it for us to share. So Noodle Day is a thing. Here's some noodle facts for you in case you want to keep them in your mind for your day. One, humans have been making noodles for over 4,000 years. That's a long time. They are one of the oldest types of food known. Chinese noodles go back to the Han Dynasty during the 3rd century. They were known as the cake, and they were cooked in a soup, and they were called soup cake. I mean, I love cake and I love soup, so yeah, it's not surprising that I'm a fan of noodles. Nowadays, we find noodles in every country across our world. Today, as I said, we are giving a shout out and bringing some love and attention to the ramen noodle restaurants that I think the first one was in Montclair, right? Is that the very first
That's
one,
correct.
Erica? Yeah, so the home base is in Montclair, and it's Ani Ramen. And today we have Erica Gillespie, who's their Vice President of Operations, to talk about noodles and the success of Ani Ramen, and a few other things that we're going to cover. So let me tell you a little bit about Erica before we jump in. As I said, she's a vice president of operations at Ani Ramen, and she has extensive experience in restaurant operations and retail development. She's an executive over 20 years of experience providing excellent employee and guest experiences. She's an influential and motivating leader with a strong strategic vision, a great passion for food, and a commitment to excellence. And she has a proven ability to coach and develop high-performing teams and instill a heightened sense of accountability. And she's been in this role for 2 years, right, Erica?
Just about 2 years. I actually started last year in February, right before the pandemic. So very, very interesting timing, as it were.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. So I know that. Try to think where should we start? Let's start by talking a little bit about the inspiration for the owner to start Ani Ramen, because I know, as we said, it started in Montclair, but now you have multiple sites, which is something that we don't always see in the business industry, especially during this time.
Yeah, it is tricky. So Luck, who is the founder and CEO of Ani Ramen, he grew up in the area. So he grew up right around Montclair in Bloomfield, and he's, he was basically born into the restaurant business. His mom has owned and operated several successful restaurants over the years, more specializing in Thai food because that's their background. But Luck and his wife and his 3 boys are, pretty obsessed with food. And ramen is one of their favorite foods to eat. And, there really wasn't a great ramen place to go in the area. And they used to, always travel in and out of the city trying to find the best noodles, the best broth, and they wanted to figure out a way to replicate that, but, do it in a local way in his own, kind of backyard. And that's how the first Ani Ramen was born in Montclair. He was able to find a great location on Bloomfield Avenue where, the rent made sense and it wasn't really too big. And, he found Julian Valencia, who's the executive chef and partner in the business. And I think that their expectation when they first opened was that they would sell maybe 100 bowls of noodles every day. And that certainly wasn't the case. I mean, it was very busy pretty much right from the start. We got a very favorable New York Times review. And from there, it was just, gangbusters. Over the course of the years, we've had people waiting outside in the freezing cold, in the pouring rain. You're one of them. Love it. Thank you so much for that. And we've had, diehard, noodle loyal fans for years, and we're very fortunate that we've had that experience, and we're grateful, for it to this day. But really, the inspiration behind it, honestly, was the love of family and food within Lux's own family, and wanting to kind of share that with a larger community. The word Ani for Ani Ramen, from Japanese, it translates to eldest brother, and that sense of family and caring and nurturing translates into every single thing that we do, and that we want people to feel like they're in an extension of their home. It's our home. We spend a lot of time here, obviously, and we want to make sure people have a warm, comfortable, inviting experience, and that even though it's special food that they might not be able to make themselves, it's still a very approachable experience for everybody.
Well, I can attest that it's a pleasurable experience, and I can
Thank
also attest
you.
that it's worth the wait from my
Thank you.
experience. So let's talk about. I mean, obviously, because of the great success right in Montclair that the restaurant had from the onset, and I remember when it opened, and almost immediately, again, like you said, you got the great reviews and the lines, and of course, the lines bring more lines, for sure, because people want to check out what's so great. And again, it's worth the wait. But expanding into so many locations, can you talk a little bit about that, and how you were able to to do that? And I think from a business owner's perspective right now, which we'll can maybe touch a little bit about
Sure.
doing this during COVID times too, because I know that so many businesses are having challenges staffing right now. And then once everybody reopened, you had a lot of locations to get open.
Yep. So, I mean, there's a few questions there. So we've been around for a little over 7 years. We opened in May of 2014 in Montclair. It took a couple of years before we opened in Jersey City. That was the second location, and that location has a bar. So that was our very first one that had, a liquor license and, was a full service establishment. It took a couple of years before we did that. And then from there, it took a couple of more years before we expanded even more, because obviously we needed to make sure as a business that we had the funds to support it. We have, some amazing friends and family that have invested in the business, and some other, kind of smaller, individuals that put their money up in order to support the business. It's not like we're funded by, private equity or anything like that. It really is a family business that is supported by, members of the community, within which that we serve. After we opened in Jersey City, we had a little bit of a spurt a couple of years later, in that we opened in Summit and Maplewood, and a second location in Jersey City in District Kitchen, which is just a pickup and delivery location. Those three locations opened within about a 6 or 7 month spurt, and that was in 2019, right? And then after that, we had some other leases that we were signing. There were some amazing real estate opportunities. We have some great landlords and some, and other people that were just interested in a reputable restaurant to maybe anchor a new site and help us expand. And the intent, historically, was to build and grow the business in our, home state of New Jersey, offer employment opportunity to people in, the state that we all grew up in, and, kind of expand locally. After those three that I mentioned, we were getting ready to open Cranford. We had a lease signed in New Brunswick. We have a lease signed in Newark, among other locations. And then obviously last year in March, we had to close due to the pandemic. So we were about a week away, honestly, from opening in Cranford last year when we had to close. That restaurant was done. From a construction standpoint, it was done. The furniture was in there, the equipment was installed, everything was functioning. All we really had to do was clean it up, receive our, plates, our china, our packaging, and things of that nature. And we were about 50% staffed. And then obviously we had to stop. So to go to your other question of, opening additional restaurants and staffing challenges and things like that, as we continue to expand, the pandemic has brought about obviously some challenges for us that are not necessarily unique to us. I mean, staffing is very difficult on any day to find the right people that have the right personality and the right work ethic. But, we don't necessarily look for a lot of experience. We're looking for people that have the right attitude. We're willing to train people because hospitality and, sense of community and sense of service is something that we find is innate in somebody, and either they have those values and share them with us, or they don't. And even in the kitchen, it's better sometimes if you have people that have kitchen experience, but at the same time, we're definitely willing to train people if they have the right attitude and they want to learn. If somebody has a desire to learn, we can teach them anything that they like. And we want to give people that might be underserved or underemployed the opportunity to thrive and to grow. And in a growing company such as ours, there's always opportunity to continue to grow your career, because we truly believe in internally promoting people and giving people opportunity. And I think that that's helped us. I mean, I know that that's helped us during, kind of a staffing crunch. But as to, continuing to grow the business in other locations, unfortunately, some businesses have had to close. And with that, there's opportunity related to real estate. There are some, leases that we've been able to, negotiate that are more favorable now than they would have been before. And so that's been great because it gives us an opportunity to grow the brand, to grow the business, to, provide more jobs to people in different neighborhoods and different communities. And so that's really worked out very, very well for us.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing the journey a little bit because, we work with so many entrepreneurs in our community, women-owned businesses, and people that are from, non-white communities trying to get businesses set up. And, obviously the challenges, especially of this last year, have impacted everybody. But it's nice to also be able to look at it from the other lens of, really creating that culture helps get through tough times. And at the same time, that there still have been opportunities during this, strange patch of living, that we've had, that have allowed you to be able to still, keep the business strong and, growing, even if it, was not the original vision.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really hard. I mean,
yeah.
As a, because you mentioned that you're, a regular in Montclair, and thank you very much for that. That historically, prior to the pandemic, we never offered takeout at all. We were, at capacity in terms of being able to make as many ramen dishes and as many buns and gyoza as we could to feed people that were sitting in the dining room, and we couldn't offer takeout. And we had to completely upend our service model and turn it on its head in order to be able to survive and thrive really during this process. And so it's been amazing for our team to learn a new skill in terms of how to manage the logistics of takeout and delivery. And, hats off to our chef, Julian, because he had to re-engineer the menu and change it so that it travels better and it makes more sense. We had to obviously source packaging for everything in order to make sure that the broth got to where it needed to be safely, hot, sealed, not spilling all over the place. And P.S., we went through many iterations of packaging in order to find the very best option out there for us. So there was a lot. I mean, there was a lot going on behind the scenes in order to be able to provide that experience for people, but we've learned a lot as a team. I think that we've gotten a lot closer as a team because of it. And we're thankful for it. And I think that it also introduced our business and our food to a broader set of people, because there are a lot of people that, they didn't want to leave their house. They didn't feel comfortable coming into the dining room. And maybe before, when they didn't have the patience or the desire to wait, for 30 minutes for a table, which I totally understand. When I'm hungry, I don't want to wait either. If they could wait in the comfort of their own home, we were able to introduce our food and what we do to people in a more convenient and comfortable setting. And so we were actually able to expand our reach, which is a very unique opportunity during a very, very stressful time when everybody is, fighting with every ounce of energy that they have, to keep their business going. And the whole entire time, obviously, we want to grow, we want to be successful, but we really, really want to take care of our team because they come in every day. It's not easy, when there's a major pandemic going on and health concerns and safety concerns, for people to come into work and be confronted with strangers every day, basically. When you're quarantined or you're staying home and limiting your exposure to people that you don't know, we came into work every day. Obviously we had masks on, and we changed all of our protocol as it related to health and safety and sanitation, but we're frontline workers too. And we take that very seriously. We feel it's a responsibility to serve the community in a different way and to provide an escape of sorts for people. So when you come in, you can have not just a great food experience, but a great service experience, and just not think about anything else that's going on out there. Not think about what's good or what's bad, because you're just in this world of great music, great people, great vibes. And we take that very, very seriously, and we looked at it as a responsibility that we really enjoyed and we wanted to be able to do.
Yes, yes. Well, I can appreciate that, and really kudos to all of our folks in the food service industry, because you all did keep us going
Yeah,
as well. I know we hear so much, and so grateful, obviously, for our healthcare workers and our law enforcement and everyone else who is out there on the front lines. But grocery store workers, I mean, all
absolutely.
when we think about who's essential, I mean, you all have really kept all of us safe by the risks that you took. So we, are of course very grateful for that. I'm also thinking about, and at the time back in April, I noted that your your restaurant and your brand was really lifted as because of the connection to the API community. And
Mm-hmm.
we also know that this has been a challenging time because of so much of the racist messaging that has been out there, and that we at the YWCA have been working hard to try to educate and reorient our community. But I know that your restaurant had gotten showcased, in a couple of places. Um, how has the restaurant gotten through that time? And I know you have such a strong following, so I would
Sure.
imagine that it was more the folks rallying around you than the opposite.
Yeah.
But I know it was a tough time, and has been. I should say it's not over yet.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not. I mean, we're a minority owned business. I mean,
Yeah.
to Luck, and whether it's Asian owned, African American owned,
Mm.
and women owned. So we are a minority run business through and through, top to bottom, back and forth, inside out. And we want to make sure that we represent the communities in which we serve as best we can. And truthfully, we saw our sales decline before we had to close, as I think as a direct result of a lot of the racist rhetoric that was out there, having to do with the coronavirus, and where it originated, and people having a horrible made up connection in their head of an Asian connection with the virus to where they were going to go. And so we saw a decrease in our sales just because we were an Asian restaurant before we had to close, which was a very unfortunate and uncomfortable thing to be a part of. Of course, what it says about people and our society. But I think that, for us as a team and as a family, we chose to just cling to each other and do the best we can to support one another, our families, whether it's our work family or our families at home, to do our very best and to stay positive. Um, as you mentioned, yes, we do have a very loyal following. I think that we do a really good job with using our voice, through our social media platforms, to stand up for what we believe in, and to speak out, when we have an opinion about something, to say that we think that something is right, or we say that something is wrong. We really do try to always have a positive approach to everything that we do. It's about love for us. It's not about hate. It really is about love. Everybody should be loved. Everybody's worthy of it, and we view everybody as an equal human being, and that's always going to stand out in everything that we do, whether it's how we serve people when they come in the door, how we hire people when they come in, and how we choose to grow in the communities that we're looking to be in. But it has been hard, of course. But I think that when you really try to see things as the glass half full and be as positive as possible, it makes a huge impact in how you make your decisions and how
Well, I think Erica, oop, and she's back. Okay, she was a
There
little
I am.
frozen
I
there
don't know
for a
what
minute
happened
there.
there.
That's okay. That's okay. We heard the gist of what you were saying, and I
Okay.
really appreciated you sharing that detail. I think it's important for our community to know because sometimes people, especially people who, live with privilege, like myself,
Hmm.
don't always understand what others who were, who are, non-white deal with, and that the reality is the impacts to the business and the racist attitudes really do ripple into something as serious as your sales and how that impacts your staff, your team, and the community. So I appreciate you sharing that. And again, for our viewers, we want you to support a wonderful businesses like this that are keeping um, you know, uh, social justice in mind, with their work and supporting the community. And, again, you just have to do a little bit of research to even learn and see how they supported the community during this time and the frontline workers, how, there was so much, rallying, by the team at Ani Ramen. We have their website here for you to check them out, and you can definitely follow them on social, as Erica shared. And I also just want to uplift one more piece here, Erica, is that, you are the VP of operations, and, in a space that there are not a lot of women operating. So
That's true.
I appreciate that too. And, wondering a little bit about that experience for you.
Sure. I mean, thank you for the shout out. I mean, I should mention that, one of the partners here at Ani Ramen, Kathleen, she's obviously a woman, and so that's very inspiring. She's been, a part of the business since the very, very beginning. We actually employ quite a few women. I would say that probably at least half of our workforce here at Ani is female. I've had the pleasure, throughout my career of working with a lot of women, and I've been inspired by quite a few along the way. I think that the way that we handle our business here is we, at the end of the day, we hire the people that have the best attitude and the best personality to take care of what needs to get done. I don't think that we look at each other as one thing or another, as a distinction. Yes, I am a woman, but am I a woman? Am I white? Am I married? Am I single? Am I a mom? Any of those things, we look at each other as just people, and who is the best person to take care of the job and take care of our people. That's what we do here. And I think that that's helped me to really thrive in this particular environment. And for me as a person, and historically in my career, if I ever felt that I was underrepresented or there was a bigger challenge, that just drove me to do better. And what I would like to, show to people, whether it's other women that I work with now or people I may work with in the future, or even, my daughter, you can get whatever you want. The only thing that's going to limit you at the end of the day is yourself. If you believe that you can do something, you can. And if you surround yourself by other like-minded individuals, then you're going to continue to grow with every step that you take, and each barrier that you break through, or each challenge that you're able to overcome. That's just adding more fuel to your fire, and it's just making for an even more exciting story and journey to share with people.
Yes, well, I appreciate that. And also, I appreciate that as humble as you are breaking barriers for others to follow in your footsteps because of the work that you're doing. And,
Thank you.
for your daughter and for others, in the industry, and many that I'm sure work for you, look up to you in that way too. So I just want to call that out. And, sometimes we don't recognize because, we're forging our way each day, that you are forging a path for others in what you're doing as well. So
Thank you.
so before we hang up from each other, leave each other, I have to ask, how do we celebrate Noodle Day today? What's going on at Ani Ramen? Because I know it's something fun.
Well, I mean, we're actually having a ramen eating contest, our
Yeah.
third annual ramen eating contest at our newest location in New Brunswick, which is located at 37 Easton Avenue. And from 6 to 8 tonight, we are we have over 20 contestants signed up to see who can eat the most bowls of ramen in 10 minutes. I am super excited. We have challenged people to come in costumes. If you come to just be, a fan and observe. I mean, as much ramen as I eat, which there's a lot of ramen that I eat, I would not be able to eat it that quickly. I will be there, rooting people on, cheering them on, and yelling and screaming and all of those things. Any fans that come in dressed up, we'll have swag and prizes and giveaways. We have drink specials, we have appetizer specials, and we have this contest going on, and we'll have a DJ spinning as well. So that will be super, super fun. And we're really excited about it. Because it's been a while since we were able to do it. We had a whole ramen Olympics planned before the pandemic, and we weren't able to do that last year. So this is our first time being able to do an event like this. So we are beyond excited, and just hope the contestants, wear comfortable pants, and that they're ready to go, because we are ready.
What's the prediction? What are the bets going at? I mean, how many bowls of ramen are what have we seen in the past? What are we striving for? What's the goal look like?
The most that have been consumed in past years was a little over 9 bowls, and no one has really crossed that 10 bowl threshold yet. So if I had to say, I think that this year we probably will surpass the 10 bowl, if for no other reason than we've all been practicing, eating our feelings during the pandemic. And I think that we're all better at eating right now than we were before. Yeah. And so I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's going to be an awesome event. It will be, great opportunity to showcase our newest location, and our New Brunswick spot is the second one actually that has a bar. So it has a full bar, and it has our extensive Japanese whiskey selection, which is really the best in the state, if not like really, and even including New York. I mean, it's a really amazing selection of curated Japanese whiskeys that are hard to find. And so we're thrilled to have, a larger audience come in and check out the space and see where we are.
That's great. All right, folks, you heard it here first. The 10 bowl is the goal. And so can people watch along on social if they're not there? Will you be
we will be streaming it.
All right,
I believe on Instagram. So if you check out Ani Ramen on Instagram, there'll be lots of information there, as well as on Facebook for where to see it. And then we'll be posting information about the winners after the fact. And then as we continue to work our way through these challenging times, we'll have additional events, and, we'll be at the New York City Wine and Food Festival in a couple of weeks as well, that you can come check us out at and have some buns. So there's a lot going on over here.
That's wonderful. All right, folks. So I don't know about you, but I need to know if someone gets to the 10 bowl. I need to know. So I'm going to be checking them out tonight on IG.
You should. They'll get some golden chopsticks and a big cash prize. So, I mean...
Yeah, and I know your Montclair location. We started out talking about you're in the process of moving to a bigger location on Bloomfield Avenue.
Yes. So we turned the lights down at 401 Bloomfield, the very, very first spot, the OG, a few days ago, and we're in the process of putting everything together here at 511 Bloomfield Avenue, and we'll be opening later this week. So we are super excited to have a dining room that seats more people than we were able to before. And I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood will be really excited about that.
Yes.
I think we'll still have a long wait, and it'll still be super busy, but we'll just be able to feed more people at one time. But it's always exciting whenever we have the chance to open a new location and, see a kind of familiar and new faces at the same time. Our whole entire staff down the street is here with us. I mean, obviously we were able to hire more people for a bigger space, but we're so fortunate that everybody just moved right up the street with us, and everybody is digging in and doing this together. We're all cleaning, we're all organizing, we're all, we're in it together. Very hands-on.
That's great. Well, so perfect timing for winter. So our waits outside are less chilly. So you heard it here, folks. Tonight, you've got to be watching or get to New Brunswick, or be, if you're not in the area, be watching IG so that you could see if we hit the 10 bowl challenge. Get ready for the weekend, and you can hit down the street, keep walking across, Bloomfield Avenue to get to the new location.
Absolutely.
And you can spread out and have the same great food, but just more and different space around you, and keep a watch on Ani Ramen and what's happening. Again, lots of great events I'm sure will be coming as the world continues to open up, safer and safer. And just again, these are folks that are in the community, supporting the community where their businesses are, and that's every reason why you should support them. Erica, thank you so much for joining us and giving us so much
Thank
perspective
you.
about the restaurant and the mission and the culture that you've worked so hard to create. One of our viewers gave you a shout out saying that she's really enjoyed the energy and the power of inherent love in what she's hearing from this conversation. So,
Oh, wow. Thank
shout
you.
out to Lola. You're meeting our soul too, Lola. Thanks for watching today. And with
Thank
that,
you.
we hope that our viewers watched the rest of the week. We've got 2 more great shows for you tomorrow. As you know, Thursday is when we share the mic now with Black women in our community to share their stories. And I'm really looking forward to talking to Avis Yates Rivers. She has really been breaking barriers for Black women in the tech industry. She is an owner of a tech company and started in that space at a time when there were very few women and almost no Black women doing this work. So I'm looking forward to her sharing her story to inspire all of you. And on Friday, we're going to continue thinking about everything pumpkin and harvest that comes with October. And Rama Ginn, who's wannabe chef, will be talking to us a little bit about some wonderful hearty foods that we can be cooking at home with our families when we're not going to Ani Ramen. Because I know that Rama would love, or she's probably been, but I know she's definitely would love Ani. So with that, everyone,
Awesome.
have a great day, a safe day. And Erica, thank you so much for all you're doing. And I'll see you at the new location soon.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let me know when you're coming in. Thank you for the opportunity.
I will. Happy Noodle Day, everybody.